The trial of former Uvalde school officer Adrian Gonzales continued today in a Corpus Christi courtroom, with jurors hearing testimony from parents of surviving students, teachers who lived through the shooting, and police training experts. Prosecutors repeatedly returned to one central issue: training and what officers are taught to do when lives are on the line. Our senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez has been following this trial since day one. Rebecca, prosecutors spent so much of today focused on police training. Why is that such a critical part of this case?
Morgan, it's because prosecutors are trying to show this wasn't a split-second mistake. It was a failure to follow training that officers are taught over and over again. Witness after witness testified that active shooter training is clear. Officers are taught to move towards the gunfire immediately, not to wait, and not to treat the situation as a barricaded suspect when children and teachers are still at risk. By emphasizing that training, prosecutors are trying to show Gonzales knew what he was supposed to do and failed to do it. They argued that failure cost lives. Jurors also heard from a school staffer who testified she saw Gonzales approach the school and told him where the shooter was. But under cross-examination, defense attorneys pointed out that when she first spoke to investigators, her description of the officer she encountered did not match Gonzales.
And so if I represent to you that Mr. Gonzales had a dark uniform on, no white shirt, no shirt sleeves, and no khaki pants, and did not have a beard, that's kind of an example of your perception, right? In your mind, that's what you saw, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so the officer gets out, and at the time you didn't know it was Mr. Gonzales, right? You didn't know it was Adrian.
No, I didn't. No.
The jury also talked to a teacher who heard gunshots and then locked her door. She testified she believed the gunman tried to get into her classroom by trying the door handle, but again, it was locked. That same teacher testified that the shooter was actually one of her fourth grade students that she taught him back when he was in fourth grade. He was familiar with that room, which we now know was one of the rooms where the children and teachers were shot. Tomorrow, we are expected to hear from one of the officers who entered the school along with Adrian Gonzales and came under fire. Morgan.
All right, Rebecca, thank you so much. You know, we will continue to keep you updated as we learn more. But for gavel-to-gavel coverage, head on over to our app. There you can see our experts watch along with the trial and actually break down what's really going on. Our stream will begin again tomorrow at 8:30 a.m.